How you doing there? Welcome back to Babylon Talmud. Today we're studying Daf Chaf. Excuse me. Sorry, Mom. Today we're studying Daf Chaf, Daf 25 of Masechta BavaMetzia. Friends. Yo, Chevra, I have a new idea for a Purim. Oh, what's today? Today's Monday. So I assume that this means maybe that I don't know, I get confused by what day is what, but maybe it's going to be Purim when you listen to this. Chevra, I think I have an idea for a Purim costume. And since you're only going to hear this on Purim, either it's going to be too late for you to copy it, or you better hustle. 1 second. Alright, sorry, I got distracted. Let's go right there. Alright, we're going to start on Daf Chaf Daled on the base, all the way at the bottom at the Mishnah. Should I tell you about my costume? You want to know about it? What's this? Oh. Do I know about my costume or you don't care? You don't care, right? Alright, let's go right there. Alright, we're going to start in Daf Chaf Daled on the base at the Mishnah. Alright, let's do it. All the way at the bottom of the Daf. Oh, gewaldig. And these things you have to announce. Okay, so we started off the first Mishnah of BavaMetzia, which is what I'm going to dress up as on Purim. Oh, there you have it. My costume is the first Mishnah in BavaMetzia. Well, I'm going to tell you, it shouldn't be too hard to do. You just got to draw a bunch of stuff. So you just got to draw Paris Mufuzar and Moos Mufuzar. So you just it's going to be great. I'm just going to draw a bunch of the things from the Mishnah, and then I could just be I'm the first Mishnah in BavaMetzia, and I could show people, I could basically be a walking Babylon Talmud. Everybody I see, I just teach them the first Mishnah in BavaMetzia. I'll show them the Paris Mufuzar and the Moos Mufuzaros, the Krichos B'Shus Harabim, Ugule Dveila. Okay. Anyways, so the first Mishnah is talks about BavaMetzia Shelo. So now here we're up to Ve'elu Chayv Lahachris. These things you have to announce. Okay, Matzah Peres Bechli. If you find fruits in a vessel, or Kli Kemoshu, or just posh at a vessel, you find the vessel. Mos Bekis or Kis Kemoshu. Money in a purse, or posh at a purse, you find the purse, you have to announce it. Tzibure Peres, piles of fruits. Tzibure Mos, piles of money. Shlosha Matbeo Zeh Al Gav Zeh. 3 coins, one stacked on top of the other. We're going to talk about this in the Gemara. Krichos B'Rishus HaYachid. Little sheaves of wheat in Rishus HaYachid. V'kikar Shabal Bayis, and loaves of bread made by a Bal Bayis, by a home baker, because those will be more unique than at a bakery. V'gizei Tzemer Alukuchin Mi Beis HaUmon, or shearings of wool that are taken from a specific wool crafts person. Kade yain v'kade shemen, jugs of wine and jugs of oil, are elu chayv lachris. In all these scenarios, if you find them, so you have to do hashavas aveder. You have to announce them. You have to try to find their rightful owner. It says the Gemara, Taimode motza peris bichli u'mos bakis hakli ulefan of peris kis ulefan of mos hare elu shelo. Okay, so the Mishnah had said that if you find money in a vessel, or let's say fruits, you find fruits, well, either one, but okay, let's say you find fruits in a vessel. So we say you have to announce that. You have to try to find the rightful owner. But the Gemara is medayik, but if you find an empty vessel and fruits next to the empty vessel, well, the fruits are not in the vessel, they're next to the vessel. So in that case, the vessel itself, we said, right, even just a plain old vessel, you're going to have to announce because it probably has a siman. I guess the assumption is that it has a siman, and somebody will claim it if they can. But if these fruits are not in the vessel, but they're next to the vessel, so then you could take the fruits. Okay, so again, so says the Gemara, time of the matzah peres bichli. The reason why you have to announce your find is because the fruits are in the vessel. Umos bakis, or the money is in the purse. Hakli v'lefanav peris, but if you have a vessel and in front of the vessel are the fruits, kis ulefanav maos, or you have a purse and in front of the purse is the money, hare elu shelo, so you can take the fruits, you can take the money. Tanina la de Tanur Rabbanon. And this Mishnah is sort of a Mishnaic stamp of sorts for that which the rabbis had already said, Matzah Kli Ulfanav Peris, that if you find a vessel, if one finds a vessel and in front of the vessel are fruits, Kisu Ulfanamos, or one finds a person, in front of the person's money, Hare Elu Shelo, the fellow can keep the fruits or the money. Miktasan b'chliu, miktasan al gabi karke, but if some of the fruits are in the vessel and some of the fruits are outside of, next to, adjacent, does that make sense in this context? Next to the vessel, miktasan b'kisu, miktasan al gabi karke, or some of the money is in the purse and some of it is on the floor, on the ground, well then, chayav lehachriz, well then you have to announce it, because the assumption then is that the fruits kind of spilled out of the vessel, or the money fell out of the purse, and you have to assume that that whoever lost the purse or the vessel lost the fruits or the money respectively. V'ro minhu, but we have a contradiction. What's the contradiction? We have a brayso that says Motza davar she'ein bo simin. If you find something that doesn't have a simin, for example, fruits, b'tzad davar sheyesh bo simin, next to something that has a simin, for example, a vessel, chayiv lahachriz. You have to announce it and attempt to find its rightful owner. So we had just been saying for the past few minutes that if you have a vessel and you have fruits next to the vessel, you can take the fruits, and yet we have now a brayso that's saying that if you have something without a simin, like fruits, next to something with a simin, like a vessel, so you have the fruits next to the vessel, you have to announce it. Excuse me, sorry, Mom. Wow, what's going on? Why all of a sudden do I have to rub my nose so much? Sorry, Mom. So where am I? So v'raminu matzah davar she'ein bo simin b'tzad davar sheyesh bo simin chayiv la'achriz. You have to announce it. But bal simin v'notal es shelo. Now, if the so the brayso is talking about where you have something without a simin, like fruits, next to something with a simin, like a vessel. So we said you have to announce it. If the owner of the vessel comes and takes the vessel but leaves the fruits, zochahalo b'davar she'ein bo simin, so then the finder can chaparain the fruits. Okay, so what's pshat? On the one hand, our Mishnah is medayik, and we have a brayso that says that if you find fruits next to a vessel, you can take the fruits. And yet, we have a brayso that's saying that if you find fruits next to a vessel, you have to announce the whole thing. Rav Zvid lo kasha. So Zvid says, don't worry about it, people. Habikuva v'kitana. Okay. Habitsana uferi. So it depends what we're talking about, right? The brayso, which says that you have to announce it, didn't actually say what we're talking about, right? It just said something with a simin and something without a simin. But it wasn't explicit that we're talking about fruits. Rather, says Rav Zvid, the brayso which says you have to announce it is talking about if you have a, what's the word? I don't know, a vat of sorts, or like a kuva v'kitana. So kitana is flax. What's a kuva? A kuva is, I don't know, must be some kind of, does Rashi say? Gigis. I don't know, gigis is a vat, I think. So you have some kind of a vat with flax in front of it. So if that is the case, wait, what? No, fakert actually. No, fakert actually. That if you have a vat, interesting. If you have a vat with flax in front of it, and the flax is entirely removed from the vat, there is no flax left in the vat, so then you can take the flax, because if the flax came from the vat, there would have been some of it left in the vat. And if it's entirely out of the vat, you can take it. Whereas, b'tzana ufere, with a basket and fruits, it's quite possible that the fruits came from the basket, but entirely spilled out of the basket, and therefore you would have to announce it in that case. Interesting. It's actually interesting because the Mishnah is talking about pears. The Mishnah implies that if the pears are outside of the vessel, then you can keep them, and yet we're saying no. If the pears are out, now Rav Zvid wants to say no by fruits. I guess it also depends what the fruits. As we're going to see, there's other distinctions that can be made as well. But now we're saying that if you have like a basket and the fruits fall out of the basket, even if there's none of them in the basket, you actually still have to announce it because they may have all just fallen out of the basket and spilled out of it, but really they came from the basket, so you have to announce them. Okay, we're going to see other nafkaminas though in a minute. Okay, so now here we go. So Rav Papa says that actually both scenarios where, like in our Mishnah where we say you can keep the fruits, and the Brisa where it says you have to announce the fruits, they're both talking about a basket of fruits. It's no problem. It depends. Our Mishnah implies that if the fruits are next to the basket, you can keep it. That's if there are no more fruits in the basket. If the basket is entirely devoid of fruits, well then you can keep the fruits. But if there are still some fruits in the basket, well then we have to assume that the fruits came from the basket. Therefore you have to announce the whole thing like the Brisa says. Alternatively, Dulo ishtayir bamidi, or you could say in both scenarios we're talking about where there is nothing left in the basket. No problem. It depends. If the basket is, on its side, fallen over, and the fruits are scattered in the direction that they would have scattered, meaning the basket is tipped over to the left and leftwards there are a bunch of fruits, so you can assume that the fruits fell out of the overturned basket and you'd have to announce that. But if the basket is fallen over to its right and the fruits are to the left, well then physics would indicate that those had the fruits have fallen out of the basket, they would have been to the right, not to the left, and therefore you would be able to keep it in that scenario. Okay. Same alternatively, you could say both scenarios are talking about where the fruits are on the floor, on the ground, in the direction that the basket is tipped over, but still there's a distinction. So it depends. If the basket has some kind of a lip, so then if it tipped over, some of the fruits would remain in the basket. If none of the fruits are in the basket and the basket has a lip, so then that means that that it was did not come from the basket, because if it did, then there would still be some in the basket. So then you can keep it. But if there's no lip on the basket, well then even if all of the fruits have fallen out, still it could be that they came from the basket and they just all fell out of the basket because there was nothing stopping it. So you'd have to announce that. Okay, so there's different scenarios in which you can keep it versus in which case you have to announce it. Very interesting stuff. So the Mishnah said Shlosha matbeo zel gavzeh. Alright. So the Mishnah, this is going to basically take us to the next Mishnah, I think, more or less. So it's not hard. It's not hard at all. Basically, the Mishnah had said you have 3 coins stacked one on the other. You have to announce that. So maybe I'll just tell you now. It'll be helpful because it's only I think it'll be helpful to kind of know this. Basically, the assumption for now is that, or at least a concept that you should just have floating around in your head right now, is that those 3 coins that are stacked on top of each other, they're stacked in a pyramid. That you have the bottom, 3 different sized coins, a large one, a medium one, and a small one. The large one is on the bottom, the medium one is on top of that, and the small one is on top of that. So it's 3 separate sizes, and it's somebody specifically put it there in that way, right? They specifically, built the structure of these 3 coins in this manner, right? The largest, the small, the medium, the small, so that you would have to announce, okay? Keep that in mind, okay? Just keep that in mind. Okay, Shlosha matbeo zal gavzo, 3 coins, one on top of the other. Amr Reb Yitzchak Migdalo, papam. Says Reb Yitzchak Migdalo, and apparently this is the only place where Reb Yitzchak Migdalo shows up in Shas. Apparently, what is it? Does Rashi say anything? I don't think so. But apparently this is the only place where Reb Yitzchak Migdalo comes up in Shas. V'husha asuyun kimigdalin. Ho ho. And he says that when do you have to announce these coins? When they are constructed like a migdal, like a tower with the widest, and we're going to see in the Gemara, that's what I'm saying. It's like kind of weird. The Gemara really only tells you what this means a little bit later, but I think it makes sense to already tell you now that what it means is that you have the biggest size on the bottom, medium on top of that, small on top of that. Okay, so Rabbi Yitzchak Bigdala says that it's talking about Asuyin Kemigdal. Very interesting. Tananam Yochid, we learn in a brisa, Matzah Mos Mefuzaris, if you find money that's scattered, Hareilu Shalo, okay, you can keep it. Asuyin Kemigdalim, but if it's made like a migdal, Chayav Lahachriz, you have to proclaim it. You have to announce it to try to find its owner. Velu and Asuyin Kemigdalim, and this is what it means, made like a tower. Shlosha matbein zel gavzeh. You have 3 coins, one on top of the other. Fine, great. And later on, we're going to talk about the big, medium, small. But that's why it's like a little weird because like we keep on talking about this migdal without actually explaining what this migdal actually looks like until a little bit later. Although it is a shtickle machlokas. Okay, whatever. We'll see. Gufa, we just said in this brisa. Hagufa kasha, but this is inherently a question. On the one hand, we're saying if you find scattered money, you can keep it. But if they're like lying one on top of the other, I think what it means is like you like take one coin and put it down, and then lean one on top of that, lean a third one on top of that, I think. Then you would be chayiv lachris. You would have to announce that. But ema seifa. But then it says asuyin kimigdalin chayiv lachris, that only if it's made like a tower, you have to announce it. But if you have mishlachve shalchufe, you'd be able to keep it. So which one is it? Tana kol she'ein asuyin kimigdalin ufuzaris karedu that if they are not scattered, then they're considered. Wait, what? If they are not made like a tower, well, then they're considered scattered, and that is that. So you only announce it if it's made like a tower. Amr Reb Chanina says Reb Chanina loshanu ella shel shlosha melachim. Says Reb Chanina that when you have to announce it, it's specifically if the coins are of 3 different kings. I think nowadays, basically the point would be like if there are 3 different countries, right? Every country has its own coins, its own minting, and therefore like they're all going to be different sizes and things like that. Aval shel melech echad oy vavoy. But if it's one king, like imagine 3 quarters, I mean all quarters are basically the same size, right? Eino chayiv la'achriz, you don't have to announce that. Echidami, what's pshat? Ida asuin kimigdalin. So if they are made like a tower, that there are 3 different sizes, built like a pyramid, or like a tower, afilu shel melech echad nami, well, even if it's the same king, who cares if you can make it into a tower? Ve'ida ein asuin kimigdalin, if they're not made like a tower, afilu shel shlosha melachim nami lo, even if they belong to 3 different kings, who cares? They're not made like a tower. So Eli Itmar, this is what Reb Chanina is saying. Lo shanu ela shel melech echad ki ein shlosha melachim. What it means is that when you have to announce it, it's when, even if it's the same king, but it has to be like, as though they were from 3 separate kings. Ve'echi dami, what does that mean? The asum kimigdalim, that they're made like a tower, and now we explain Revicha, Tata, that the largest one is on the bottom, Umetzia ilave, and then the medium-sized one is on top of the largest one, Vizuta ilave metzia, and you have the smallest one on top of the middle one, Da'aminon anuche anchinu, that we say that you specifically put it in this pattern, and therefore you have to announce it because it's identifiable and somebody left it there, right? And we're saying Davka. We mentioned 3 kings, as I mentioned earlier. Like if you imagine you take like, a quarter and a U.S. quarter and a United States shekel and a U.S. quarter and an Israeli shekel, and I got change from somebody yesterday and he left me some other currency that I'm not sure what it is. And that, which was actually smaller than a shekel and definitely smaller than a U.S. quarter. So like if you have 3 different currencies, which are going to be 3 different sizes, because they're 3 different mints, so then, and one on top of the other, so then you would have to announce that. But of one king, so I think the point is like, right? If you have like 3 quarters, for example, then it's just a stack. It's not a building. It's not a pyramid of sorts. Even though they're stacked one on top of the other, he can keep them because it wouldn't be considered identifiable. Amar isamuye israme ubadadodi nafal. I would just say it just happened to have fallen, right? That they fell and they happened to have fallen one on top of the other. But we wouldn't necessarily say that somebody placed it there. Rabbi Yochanan Amar, whereas Rabbi Yochanan disagrees and he says afilu shel melech echad, even if they all belong to the same king and it's stacked, nami machriz, you still would announce it. My machriz, what are you going to announce? Minyan. If you're going to announce the number, my area tlasa afilu treinami, then if we're saying that you're announcing that you found 3 of them, well, so why can't you also announce that you found 2 of them, right? We're saying Davka, the Mishnah says, first words on today's daf, Shlosha matbeo ze'al gavzeh, 3 coins. Well, if you're telling how many there are, then why specifically 3? Even 2 can work. So Ravina says, Ravina tiva machriz. No, what he announces is, I found coins, and then and 2 won't work because coins, obviously, he's already minimum plural is 2. So to say that I found coins and somebody says, oh yeah, I lost 2 coins, well, that you're not saying anything new. But if you say I lost coins and somebody says, oh yeah, I lost 3 coins or 4 coins, so then that's significant. And he would say, I lost 3 coins and they were stacked in such a way, so then that would be considered a siman. But Rabbi Yirmiyah asks, Kisher ma'u, what about if they're the coins are like a bracelet? I don't know, like, I guess in like a circle of sorts. Kishura ma'u, or if they are in a line, Kechatsuva ma'u, or in a tripod. Kisula ma'u, or like a ladder. I guess one on top of the other, cousin? Like a ladder. I think is that like, I'm imagining it's like mishlach ve shalchufe. Pshot mia chada, well, at least let's answer one of these scenarios. The Amr of Nachman says of Nachman and Rabbi Barvua, should I sneeze? Sure, why not? One sec. Kol she'ilu machnis la kesim beineim v'not lam v'asachas, if you can slip some kind of wood chip in there and flip them all over, so then chayv lachriz, right? You take them all at once like that, then chayv lachriz, you'd have to announce that. So that's, I guess, the latter scenario. You would have to announce that. Rav Ashi asks Akasha, ka'avne beis kulis mau. What if they're like avne beis kulis, like markulis, that right there? We're going to learn about that in Masechta Avodah Zarah, which again isn't too, it's far away, but not extremely far away. It's Masechta, it's in Seder Nezikin. So we have to finish, of course, BavaMetzia, Bava Basra, Sanhedrin, Makis, Shvuis, and then I think Avodah Zarah. So we definitely have time. Is that the last Masechta? It might be like the last Masechta in Nezikin. Maybe after that there's like Horius and maybe like Adius, but that's like, yeah, I don't think that there's anything major there. I guess Avodah Zarah might be the last like major Masechta in Nezikin. Anyways, Markulis is like one of the Getchke. Okay, so Toshma, the Tanya is within the Brayso. Matzah Mos Mefuzaris, if you find scattered money, you can have it. Ka'avne beis kulis, if they are like avne beis kulis, chayv lahachris, you would have to announce. If Eluin avne beis kulis, and this is how you identify avne beis kulis, the stones of beis kulis, achas mikan v'achas al gabein, 2 coins next to each other and one in the middle, kind of like bricks, right? You have 1, 2, and then one on top, right? Tanu Rabbonon, the Rebbe is taught amotzi sela bashuk. Okay, Reuven finds a coin in Shuk Machne Yehuda. Givaldig. Chaver Shimon, his friend, finds him. He says, "Oh, v'amilo shaliu ab. I recognize that shekel. That's my shekel." Chadashi, he says, "Yeah, look, I'm telling you, my shekel was a new shekel. Neron is he. It was a Neron Kesar shekel. It's got his face on it. Shamelech Ploni, or a certain king. Lomer Klum. No, Shimon can't take that shekel from Reuven. Not only that, even if Shimon wrote his name on the shekel, he cannot take it away. Even if Shimon wrote his name on the shekel, he cannot take it away from Reuven. Lomer Klum, it's irrelevant. Ain't simin l'madber, because there's no simin when it comes to a coin. Look, currency, money is meant to be spent and moved around, right? There's no such thing. I don't care that Shimon wrote his name on it. It's not going to be his coin forever. He goes to Super Shuk and he buys tuna fish and he gives the shekel to the people over there. So now they have the shekel, and then somebody else came and bought tuna fish and he needed change and they gave him change, and now that other person has a shekel. It falls on the floor. Reuven finds it. Shimon says, "Oh yeah, that's my shekel. It has my name on it." I don't care. It has your name on it. How do I know you didn't go to Super Shuk and spend it on tuna fish? and then the clerk gave it to change to somebody else, and that person dropped it, and Reuven found it. So if Shimon comes and says it's my shekel, forget about it. We don't listen to him. Right? If Shimon comes and says it's my shekel, we don't listen to him. Okie dokie, we got one more Mishnah on the agenda for today, and then we're done. It says the Mishnah, Achra Agopo, or Achra Agorer, Gozalos Mukusharim. If you find birds, what are gozalos, like pigeons or something? Little bird kind of thingies. That they're tied together. Birds with wings, and they're tied together. And you find them behind the wall or behind the fence, or b'shvilin shebasados, or in the paths of the fields. Harezeh lo yigaboy, don't touch them, leave them alone. Matzah kli ba'ashba, if you find a vessel in a garbage heap, im mechusa, if it's covered, lo yigabo, don't touch it. Somebody put it there, covered it up, to get back another time, don't touch it. In megula, but if it's revealed in the garbage heap, so then notel machriz, so then you can chap it around and make an announcement. Hey, I find epis in the garbage. Do you want it? Okay. Is it yours? Says the Gemara, my time. How come we say that you have these birds that are tied together, leave them alone? The Amina, we say, Hani inish atznoinu, because we will say that somebody put them there. Somebody put them there. Here. V'ishakilu, and if you take them, and if you take them, well then the owner would not be able to prove that they are his. They would have no siman. Hilkach l'shavkinu, therefore leave them ad osim arayu until their owner comes. V'shakilu, and he'll take them. Why is there no siman? Meaning we're saying, look, you found these birds, they're all tied together, leave them there. Because if you take them, you're going to create a mess, because the owner is going to lose them and he'll have no way of proving that they belong to him. There's no siman, and he's going to lose them. So just leave them there and let the owner find them and take them and don't make a mess. But why is there no siman? Lavi kesher simana. Shouldn't the knot in the rope be a sign? So let him talk about this. Say, yeah, they were tied together. Well, it's talking about where they're tied by their wings. That everybody ties up these birds in that same exact way. So there's nothing unique about it. It says, yeah, they were tied by the wings. Everybody ties the birds by the wings. Well, shouldn't the place let him say where he found them? Well, it's talking about where they hop around, right? That they can hop around. So therefore, where you found them is not necessarily where he lost them. So therefore, the place where you found them isn't super relevant. Even madodin me alma osu umutarin. Well, if they are hopping around, well then can't you assume that they came from some other place and therefore you should be able to take them? So ika da amre, so ika lememar me alma osu because lememar inish atzno inu. Well, yeah, maybe they came from some random place, from somewhere else, but maybe they didn't. Maybe their owner put them there. And therefore we're not sure. We don't know. Were they placed there? Did they come from somewhere else? We don't know. We simply don't know. From Reb Abba, Barzavda, Amrav Kol Sofek Kinuach, whenever you have a uncertainty around, was something placed there, or did it come from somewhere else? Was it placed there and therefore you leave it for the owner, or did it come from somewhere else and therefore you could take it? If you're not sure, you should really leave them there. But if you did take it, you don't have to give it back to anybody because there's no way to prove it. Right here, for example, you have these birds over here that you're not sure where they came from. So we say leave it, so that if the owner left them there, he'll be able to take them. But if you take these birds, then the owner won't be able to claim them back because he'll have no way, there's nothing unique about them. Because they're just tied by their wings in the way that everybody ties them by their wings. So best thing is to just don't touch them. If you find a vessel in a garbage heap, if it is covered, do not touch. Megula notel machris. If it is revealed, take it and announce it. We have a contradiction. If you find a vessel hidden in a garbage heap, notel machris. Take it and announce it. Oh, our Mishnah says don't touch it. We have a Bryce that says take it and announce it. Sheken derech ashbe liponis. because it is the way of garbage heaps to be cleared away, and therefore, if you don't take it and announce it, then maybe, somebody else is going to take it, and maybe there's somebody who won't announce it, and so better since trash heaps get cleared away, best if you find something to just take it and announce it. So, on the one hand, our Mishnah is saying, leave it, don't touch it. On the other hand, we're saying, you should take it and announce it. Omer of Zvid lo kasha, says of Zvid, it's no problem. Abikove v'kase ha bisakini v'hemnik, it depends. If you find something big, like a barrel or a cup, leave it. Somebody left it there. Ha bisakini v'hemnik, but small things like knives or like spinning forks that they spin gold with, I don't even know what that means. That these small items that somebody may have accidentally thrown out with the trash by accident, so then you would take that and announce it. Bekove v'kase lo yuga, that if we're talking about barrels and cups, don't touch them, leave them there, somebody hit them there. Besakine v'hemnik, no telumachris, but if we're talking about a knife or this spinning fork that somebody may have inadvertently thrown out with the trash, you should take them and announce them. Papa Omer says, Papa Avah Bekove v'kase, you could say that both scenarios are talking about a barrel and a cup, or a cup. Velokasha, no problem. Kan ba'ashba asuya lipanos, kan ba'ashba she'en asuya lipanos. It depends. If it is a barrel, if it's a garbage heap that normally gets cleared away, so then you take it and announce it. But if it's a garbage heap that does not normally get cleared away, well then somebody stored it there long term. Ashba asuya lipanos aveda midasi. But I don't understand. If it is in a garbage heap that normally, that regularly gets cleared away, well then anybody who hid something there is just like, he's basically making it hefker, because it gets cleared away regularly, he's obviously going to lose it. So why do you have to announce it? So, Ela ba'ashba she'eno asuri lipanos v'nimloch alea lifnosa. No, so rather says Rav Papa, actually when you have to announce it, it's talking about a garbage heap that does not normally get cleared away, but its owners decided that we're going to clear it away. So then somebody who finds a barrel or a cup there, he should uncover it, he should take it, and he should announce it. Because it could be that the person who left it there assumed that it would not be cleared away, but now it's going to be cleared away, therefore you should announce it. But a garbage heap that is not going to be cleared away, you should leave it. So I understand according to Rav Papa, that's why that brisa that says notel umachriz shekain derech ashba lipanos, because you should announce it, because it's talking about where the garbage heap is going to be cleared away. So I understand. But according to Rav Zvid, who says that it has nothing to do with the garbage heap being cleared away, it has to do with if it's a big item like a barrel or a cup, or if it's a small item that might get thrown out with the trash, like accidentally, like a knife or a spinning fork. But what does the garbage heap have to do with anything? It has to do with the nature of the item that was lost. No, so Rav Ziv would say not that the garbage heap gets cleared away. No, it's that it's the way of a garbage heap that people inadvertently throw away small things like knives and spinning forks away, right? They clear away their garbage into the garbage heap and inadvertently include in there small items like knives and spinning forks. Therefore, you should take it and announce it. Chevre, that was the Chof Hey of Masechta BavaMetzia. Hope you enjoyed. Peace out.